Introduction to questions 14 and 15. The vertex of a parabola represents the minimum value of the quadratic function if the parabola opens upward, and the vertex of a parabola represents the maximum value of the quadratic function if the parabola opens downward. Number 14. Make sense of problems. The equation and graph below represent two different quadratic functions. Function 1 is y equals x squared minus 3. Function 2 is this graph right here. Which function has a greater minimum value, and justify your response? This minimum value says x squared minus 3. That means that we know the vertex is at 0, negative 3, because there's nothing in the parentheses, and we have this minus 3, so HK. So that means that the minimum is at negative 3. Here in the graph, my vertex is 0, 3, meaning that the minimum is at 3. Which of those two is greater? Function 2. Three is greater than negative 3. See information on vertex. Let's take a look at 15. The verbal description in the table below represent two different quadratics. Function 1. The graph of function 1 is the graph of a parent function stretched vertically by a factor of 4 and translated 1 unit up. Function 2. We have the table. Negative 5, 4, negative 4, 1, negative 3, 0, negative 2, 1, negative 1, 4. Which function has the greater minimum value, and justify your response? Okay. This says it is stretched vertically, which does not change your vertex, but it is translated 1 unit up. So my vertex here is 0, 1, making the minimum value at 1. Let's take a look here. Based on my table, my vertex, remember that's where my graph basically kind of starts to repeat itself. So my vertex here is negative 3, 0, meaning that my minimum is at that y value of 0. Which one has a greater? Function 1. Why? Because 1 is greater than 0. And we could say see information on vertex. Take a moment to copy this information down. There is no wrap up of this section. Go ahead and mark this presentation as done once you've completed all your videos.